Afternoon, the tour operator TUI says it's cancelling 6 flights a day from Manchester Airport until the end of June. It's adding to the disruption facing travellers this half-term and beyond. EasyJet's among the other operators cancelling flights as the industry struggles to cope with a combination of surging passenger numbers and staff shortages. Jane Kinskaz says that she's given up on her holiday to Malta just last week after EasyJet overbooked her flight.
I went through all the stages of grief. And we spent, I was angry, I was upset. The first half an hour, I just hysterically cried on the airport floor at baggage claim because I was so upset and just so shocked because I've travelled a lot and nothing like this has ever happened.
Well, let's speak to the travel consultant, Julia Lo BueSaid. Julia, thanks for joining us this afternoon. That's just one story of many of people being disappointed.
It is, David, and really upsetting for me to hear that, and I can guarantee you for the industry to hear that as well. You know, we sell dreams, we get people away, and when it's creaking, it's not great, it's not ideal, so equally frustrating for all round, I have to say.
It's obviously damaging confidence in people who have things booked over the next few weeks. Jane, will it have Julia, apologies, will it have wider implications? You know, as we head into the peak summer period, people looking for those last minute deals and some of those things that help the industry take over, will that be taken away now?
I think what we've seen, you know, an industry which has been shut down clearly for 2 years. You know, this will be the first time in many years that people have travelled. Travelling is a bit different, but unfortunately the industry has literally had weeks to rebuild what was shut down. So also we're at the mercy of destinations. So every time we see destinations lifting, which is fantastic in destination, it creates another surge on top of the surge we're seeing already. The industry is going all out to recruit, to make sure that it can put in place all the measures to ensure that consumers can travel and they can travel in the knowledge that their flight will depart. It's going to take a bit of time to rebuild, but we're definitely not resting on our laurels. But I think there are things that people can do to minimise disruption and help them, during this period. Booking through a travel agent will always help. It will ensure that they're there to help rebook. That lovely lady you had on, Jane, I don't know who she booked with, but there will always be a travel agent who's there to help rebook and put them on alternative flights. And that's just one of the things that they can do. Does that help in
terms of compensation if you book through a travel agent?
It will help them understand exactly what their rights are. It will help them understand what the alternatives are. The alternatives not always just to cancel. The alternatives, and we've seen lots of examples of this, the alternatives will be travel agents sitting down with the consumer and understanding exactly what it is, you know, where were they going and what alternative flights are available. But David, it's also worth recognising that, you know, millions of people are still travelling. These bottlenecks are not great and these cancellations are awful. However, in the vast majority of cases while the airports are busy, we're still able to get millions of passengers away every week, which is also positive.
What about the future of the actual airlines themselves? We've seen a number of them struggle through the pandemic. Some of them didn't quite make it through the other end. And now, you know, if you're cancelling flights, you're having to provide compensation, you're having to provide alternatives to people. That all comes at a massive cost, possibly, you know, multiple times more than what someone paid for the initial flight. Does it put airlines in danger of hitting the wall soon?
No, I don't think so at all. I think, you know, they're very well capitalised, and I think they've used the last couple of years to make sure they are that and they are robust. And it's a case of building back an industry literally overnight within a few weeks of trying to get everyone in place, get their staff back operating. And the process to recruit is a long drawn out process, particularly for the airlines. You can't train someone in one day and put them on an aircraft. It does take time. And there are the operational issues around the amount of time that crew can fly if you have delays. But no, I think we're seeing the industry rebuild itself. We've got to get over, we've got to make sure we can absolutely satisfy demand and be in the best place possible to make sure people can continue to travel and look forward to a summer holiday.
Okay, thanks very much, Julia, for your time this afternoon. The travel consultant there, Julia Lo BueSaid, and of course, TUI, in the statement that they've provided today, say that this is down to some staff shortages at Manchester Airport.